Hey everyone, welcome back to Kind of Evolved, a podcast about living naturally. I am back with Kaylee Fickthorn. I did it.
You did
I got her last name right.
it.
And today we are going to be talking about staying healthy at the office. So we're going to be covering a variety of topics, but it's all going to really revolve around just most. I'd say we're probably going to mostly cover on physical health at the office, but definitely some of the mental benefits too. So let's go ahead and let's start at the beginning, the start of the universe. We a little farther than that, but like early humans, we are designed to travel long distances on a regular basis. We're always supposed to be moving, really. We're
Mhm.
just, we're not supposed to be running. We're not supposed to be doing crazy stuff, but we're always just our body's always supposed to be moving. Chairs are definitely not natural. I've never seen a chair growing in the forest. And so there are all these health consequences that come along with what we now do, the way we now have to live to stay integrated into society. But just because we have to do these things doesn't mean that we can't find a slightly better way to do it so that we're healthier in the process. Maybe a little less back pain, hopefully, because I get that a lot sitting here all the time. Uh, and yeah, just try to get up and move just a little bit each day. Nothing crazy. This is once again going to be an episode where I try to hammer home the fact that you don't have to be dedicated. If you work 12 hours a day, first of all, calm down. Second of all, you can still find a minute here or there to do stuff to be a little healthier. So I don't know where to start.
Uh, well,
I guess the main problem with offices in general is just that people are sitting still for such long periods of time.
yes. And there's like multiple different things that go wrong when you sit for such a long time. Not only is there like a musculoskeletal component, meaning like the pressure on your bones, the atrophy of certain muscles, things like that, which I can go into, but also just like the circulatory and like vascular component, meaning like the stagnation of blood flow in the legs and things like that. So,
Yeah, it can literally have, like, we're talking about literally shortening your life here. Like, it doesn't get much more important on a personal level than this.
right.
So it's important. It's an important thing to consider. And like I said, it doesn't. I think a lot of people think, as usual, it's one or the other. I have this dream to run this business or to work at this office or whatever, or I can stop and be a little healthier. You can do it at the same time. You can find workarounds. You can, again, just take a few minutes here and there. So let's get into that. But first, yeah, like you were just talking about, where you said you could get into it a bit more with like the skeletal and all of that. Can you just touch on your knowledge on that?
Yeah. So, we kind of touched on like how the sitting posture really isn't natural or
Right.
supernatural for our bodies. Um, Basically, what sitting can do for especially a prolonged period of time is increase the compression on the vertebrae in your low back, and particularly like the discs in between. A lot of people probably have heard of like disc bulging or like disc degeneration. That definitely plays a role. In addition, it can also cause like atrophy of a lot of your muscles in your back, which are really important for your core strength. And that overall can affect what you do when you're not sitting. So if you try to, go about and live your daily life, but you're also spending like over 48 hours a week sitting, then, you're going to quickly find out that like, you know, going upstairs is harder, or,
Right.
getting down on the floor to play with your kids is harder. Like it affects that so much.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think about how much of an impact it would have on different aspects, but definitely like I notice because I run a business where it mostly requires sitting or just standing around, but then I also have a farm animal rescue, and if I have like a month where I'm crazy busy at the business and then I go outside and I'm trying to lift 50-pound bags, suddenly I'm like, why does this seem so much harder right now?
Exactly. Well, and most people don't realize that like muscle atrophy can set in so quickly.
Hmm.
Like you'll notice a decrease in strength and is like And as little as a few days if you're completely sedentary, but typically it's about 2 weeks.
Wow.
That you start to really notice those effects of the muscle atrophy.
We were talking about postures and the chairs and stuff. What are, so for people that have to sit most of the day, there's no other option. They have to be sitting. What are some things they can do? Are there any quick, easy, non-intrusive solutions to that? Like, is something as simple as just sitting up straighter? Is that going to help?
Like, as we
Yeah, no, I immediately was like, wow, I'm slouching a lot.
There's a couple of different recommendations that I usually make. The first one is to get like an exercise ball.
Uh-huh.
Just sit on that if you can.
Right.
Because that's basically just going to keep all of your muscles firing.
Right.
A lot better. And, that'll help ward off the atrophy like I was talking about. But also, like, if you can kind of elevate like the back of your hips so that, when you're sitting, instead of having like your back be like this and then your legs come out like this, you're like a little bit elevated, then that usually helps a lot with what people refer to as like sciatic pain.
Uh-huh.
Because it's taking some of the compression off of that nerve.
So are you saying like a slight arch and lower back kind of?
Like, actually, if you were to like, say, roll up a towel,
Uh-huh.
put it in like the back of the seat part and then just have like part of your butt basically elevated,
So
or like
just
the back of your hips elevated.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Huh.
Because you don't want too much of like a sharp angle of
Right.
like your torso to your legs.
Right.
Because you have this nerve, it's like commonly referred to as the sciatic nerve. It's actually a combination of two different nerves. But it comes from the back, runs all the way down the back of the leg into your foot. And when you have that really like dramatic angle, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm lifting my leg up. When you have that really dramatic angle, your nerves don't stretch. So
Right.
that's just pulling the nerve, and if it can't stretch, then it just gets more inflamed. And that usually causes a lot of low back pain.
So another way to help that would probably be, I know some higher end chairs, you can adjust the back so it goes back a little bit. So basically the issue is the 90-degree angle at the hips and back for the most part.
From what I've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge issue.
So if you are like higher up at a business and you've got like an image that does not support a big ball to sit on, or you're just uncomfortable with it,
Yes.
get a chair where you can adjust the back a little bit. So you got a slight decline, whatever. You can lean back a little bit, where the seat stays in the same spot, but the back goes back a little bit. Now, I do have another question. When I'm working for long periods of time, about like an hour and a half in, I'll be sitting like this.
Uh-huh.
What are your thoughts on that?
Not great.
No? I do find it hurts.
Yeah, not surprised. Where do I even start? Basically, you want to try to sit as straight up as you can.
Uh-huh.
People don't realize this, but we have 3 natural curves in our spine. The ones that we're talking about more are like your lumbar and what's called your thoracic spine. And so your thoracic spine, which is like your mid-back, that actually curves in, and then your lumbar spine curves out. And so if you can, that's why you see all these like lumbar support pillows and stuff, and it's
Right.
supposed to provide more support for maintaining that natural curve.
Okay.
But what I find is that a lot of people have an exaggerated, what's called like lumbar lordosis, or like an exaggerated curve in the spine and in the low spine. And so if they can get a little bit more mid-back or thoracic support, that actually helps to keep them upright for longer.
I don't know. It's funny how I do wonder in the past, like way back in the past, how often we were actually sitting like this. Because I feel like, you go through the woods, you can't really find anywhere you can sit at this 90-degree angle like this.
Yeah.
So you can just tell based on that it's such an unnatural way for us to sit. But it is, unfortunately, the most efficient way to use a computer, it seems. So we're stuck with it. But these little tips should help you be a little more comfortable, because no one wants to go home and have their back hurt. I hate when I've been sitting at a desk well, here's what I hate. Let me just list everything I hate real quick. No, I think it's crazy how I can be outside working for a whole day come in and be a little sore all over. But then the next day I can be sitting at my desk all day, finish, and then be in like excruciating pain from my back where I have not been moving at all. So you'd think it wouldn't hurt at all, but it's just
Right.
these weird unnatural things that we're doing, I guess.
Yeah, and what I found is that a lot of it comes down to core strength. And people, when you talk about core strength, people are like abs, abs, abs.
Right.
But it's like, no, your core strength is more than just your abdominals. It's like your obliques, which are the muscles
Right.
on the side, and then your
Lower
back.
back. Yeah, it wraps all around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like these little tiny muscles that actually do a lot in maintaining your posture in your low back. And it's important to kind of try to keep those up if you can, especially if you're having to sit all day.
Right. What are your thoughts on this? Was a big trend for a while. It seems to have died off quite a bit, but standing desks. Do you think that makes an impact?
I think it helps. I think that if there's any way that you can incorporate like movement in
Right.
your standing desk thing, I think
Yeah.
that is better. Like I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of like stationary bike desks and
Right.
like treadmill desks, or like even just those little like foot rocker
Right.
things you can do. Because the big issue that I've seen with standing desks is like circulation,
Mm-hmm.
and maintaining that circulation back up into the body.
Right.
Because you don't think about it, but and most people don't realize it. The like veins that go down into your leg, the only thing that's going to push that blood back up is the muscles in your leg. So it's not like a pressure gradient like it is in much the rest of the body. It's literally just your muscles in your leg. So if you can, even just doing like what we call like ankle pumps, which is just like moving your foot up and down while you're sitting, that helps.
Really
Mhm.
interesting. So I have bad ADD. Like I used to get in trouble in school all the time because school doesn't properly assess all the children and adapt their teaching style based on the individual. We'll get into that later. But I've always like rocking my chair, tapping my foot. So it's really just any movement, anything that gets blood flowing can help.
Yeah, especially in the legs.
Well, I'm going to have to call up Mrs. Torpy from second grade and tell her that she shouldn't have taken my chair away because I was rocking it.
Don't hurt yourself now, but yeah.
So you mentioned the, just raising and lowering your feet. I kind of bounce my legs a little bit. What are some other, if someone like doesn't want to or isn't able to get up and can't, again, they've got an image they're trying to uphold.
Okay.
We're going to picture this big executive that that needs the respect of everyone. It needs to look tough and just ready to go all the time. But he's hidden behind this gorgeous mahogany desk. Right?
Okay.
So people can't see his legs. What are some other exercises? Is there anything else you can do while sitting?
The optics might be a little bit weird, but
Right.
there are a lot of like chair yoga type flows that can be really helpful if you are staying at a desk for a while and you can't stand up for whatever reason. And a lot of it has to includes and incorporates things like different stretches for when you're sitting. Like the one that I like the most is like what we call like a piriformis stretch. So you cross one ankle over the opposite knee and then just pull that knee. I'm doing it right now, but you can't see it. So pull the knee up toward your opposite shoulder. And then it helps to alleviate some of the pressure on the muscles that can, again, compress that sciatic nerve.
Right.
But also things that incorporate like some back like flexion and extension, like trying to get it moving a little bit just so you're not so stagnant all day.
Mm-hmm. Is there any benefit to like switching positions? Like if you, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something real simple. Like if you have your legs crossed a lot and then you switch to sitting normally and then maybe you actually like full blown cross your legs while sitting in your chair. Is there, which I'm trying to do now, but I'm in a very small space. Would that fall under the category of just any movement is good movement, essentially?
Pretty much. Crossing both of your legs isn't the best,
Really?
just for blood flow reasons,
Oh, okay.
and for joint reasons, because like you don't realize it, but as you move, you're constantly like moving the fluid in your joints and increasing that nutritional value to your joints. And so if you cross both of your legs, I'm just thinking about your knees. They're not going to get a lot of blood flow. So
I
that
gotcha.
could potentially make them worse over time.
Okay. So as far as sitting still in a chair and
Okay.
not getting up, your options are limited. You're going to want to work on your posture.
Posture.
You're going to want to move your feet, move your ankles, just keep some blood flow going. Maybe get a chair that reclines a little bit in the back so you don't have that 90-degree angle at your waist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it for not getting up, right?
Yeah, just try to stretch as much as you can.
Yeah. So even if you just get up and just like roll your shoulders, move for a second, then sit right back down.
That helps.
That does. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a
lot of people
certain...
don't think about it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like every time a dog gets up, it seems like they stretch. They get ready and then they start walking. But
Yeah.
it's so rare to see people do that, especially in public.
Yeah. I don't know
But
what this idea is that we just have to like get up and go. But like,
yeah,
yeah.
instantly. Yeah. All right. So luckily, a lot of newer businesses are more progressive. We got this whole new age vibe going. You got, I picture people working at like TikTok being on like the bouncy chairs, and they've got a ping pong table in the room. I don't know. I've never seen pictures. But if you are able to get up, whether it's a standing desk or you take a 60-second break every once in a while, what would you recommend people do if we're focused on health and back pain and all that sort of stuff?
What I would recommend the most is just trying to stretch out the back. And so like trying to bend over at the waist, slowly come back up, like, do a little rotation here and there. Just try to get that movement back in the back, because that's the place that's going to break down the easiest and the quickest.
That makes sense. So it sounds almost yoga like what you're talking about. Just
Yeah.
nothing too aggressive. You shouldn't be like sitting and then you jump up and you start doing jumping jacks.
Yeah.
You just get up, move around a little bit. I feel like even if... No, go ahead.
You just want to activate those muscles again to help support the back when you do go to sit down again, and then try to get some more blood flow between the vertebrae into those discs.
And does that help with pain or health or a little bit of everything?
Long-term health, but also kind of prevention of pain.
Okay. And I feel like if you've got like a 5-minute break and you do work in like an office building, it'd probably be pretty good if you could just get up, walk around the building a little bit, and then come sit back down, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like go to the water cooler or something.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Just anytime you're moving. I mean, you're not gonna get jacked. Don't kid yourself. You're not gonna, but it's gonna help your health. And I do definitely want to talk on mental health stuff, because especially you're just locked in a room under your fluorescent lighting or whatever. It's once again not natural, but something that a lot of us have to do. So getting up and moving, any sort of exercise, boosts your mental health and your mental clarity. So even if you're one of these people that's working crazy long hours, you're like, I don't have time for this, you're actually going to work more efficiently once you get back to working, because your brain's just going to feel better after. It's just...
Well, yeah, like the muscle contractions release endorphins.
Right.
So,
yeah.
and that helps to basically boost your mood.
Yeah. Better mood, better clarity. There's all sorts of research. There's names for these. I can't remember, but the certain, you're supposed to work like 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, 25, that sort of thing. I know that's kind of a tall order for some people out there, but like we said, you've got the options for while you're sitting. You've got, it's literally a 60-second break, what you can do. And then if you get a little longer, 5, 10, 15-minute breaks that you do every once in a while, just get moving, go for a walk. Even better, get outside for a few minutes if you can. Get out in nature, because first you'll get the exercise from the walking. That's going to boost everything. And then getting outside in nature, that's going to boost everything too. So you're really, if you're all about efficiency, that's efficient. You're multitasking there.
Exactly. Well, the air quality in the offices.
That's true
Like,
too.
if you can get out and actually breathe some fresh air. I mean, I
Yeah.
know like, some people live in cities, but
Right.
still.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do an episode in the future about houseplants, indoor air quality, and the study NASA did on which ones are the most efficient.
Don't get me started.
Oh no. Is this a good or a bad? Don't get me started.
It's all a lie.
Is it? Oh, for
Yeah.
real? Oh no. All right, we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to talk after this podcast before I start
Hate to burst
researching.
your bubble.
Oh no. Let me write down it's all a lie real quick so I remember to ask you. It's all a lie. If I got amnesia and read this tomorrow, I'd be so confused. It's all a lie.
Usually in our recommendations, we have like a weekly thing of like if you can get 150 minutes of moderate exercise, then that will like literally prolong your life and your heart health.
Right.
For a lot of people, that isn't achievable, but at the same time, you have to consider what moderate exercise is for you.
Uh-huh.
So, like if you're somebody who is completely sedentary, you know,
Right.
just taking a 30-minute walk or just breaking it up into like 2 15-minute walks a day, like there you go.
Right.
That's your quota, you know, your dose,
Yeah.
as we call it. So, you know, you have to take into, when you think about these things and you hear online a lot about like, oh, you should do this to be healthy, like you have to personalize it. And that's why, like, you know, people always say like, oh, consult your doctor, because it really does make a difference person to person, like what moderate exercise is.
Right. Right. Because if every day you're going to the gym for an hour and you're this ripped guy, moderate exercise is going to mean something a lot different than if you're 80 years old and you have a cane.
Exactly.
Right. Earlier, you were talking, before we started the podcast, you were talking about barriers to exercise. And, you know, I mentioned earlier how people, you know, I'm really trying to touch on real quick things people can do, because I know people get locked into, I don't have time for that. But
Yeah.
what is that what you were talking about when you said barriers to exercise? Just that people feel like they can't do it or don't have time for it, or?
Yeah, because that's a big thing, especially when people like live a corporate life, basically. You know, oh, I work 8 hours a day. I wake up, go to work, come home, eat, go to bed. Like, if you can just squeeze in, you know, my favorite example is always like do squats while you're brushing your teeth.
Right.
Like when you wake up in the morning before you get out of bed, like just do some lay on your stomach and press up and
Right.
try to get some movement in the back before you stand up. Like,
Yeah.
just little things like that can go a really long way in terms of like improving your overall health.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing to talk about, because you can, multitasking, from what I understand, is largely a myth. Most, like the vast majority of the population cannot do two things at once that require mental processing. You're actually just rapidly switching back and forth between things, and it's not efficient for most people. But you can multitask doing something that requires your brain and just something physical at the same time. So if you're standing there reading something and you just want to go up on your toes and come back down and go back up, do calf raises like that,
That's perfect.
you can do that. If you want to sit at your desk and clench your butt repetitively, you can do that too. I don't know how efficient that is,
helps.
but
I mean,
anything that's using muscle.
also, like, you know, don't park so close to the store when you're going to the store.
Right.
Like, take the far parking space.
Right.
Like, that's
Yeah.
a huge recommendation I give my older people.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, at the office, if you've got like an elevator, if you're only a couple floors up, maybe try taking the stairs every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then there are, of course, we've been focused on the easy, least intrusive things. There are, of course, things in an office where if you're more in shape or you want to push yourself more, that you can do without having to leave and go somewhere. I feel like people probably already know it. The people that this would apply to, I feel like they probably already know this, because I'm mostly talking about people that are like in shape and already exercising. But you know, you can get down, you can do push-ups, you got sit-ups and crunches, squats, even like you can really get, I mean, I don't know. It depends office to office, I guess, and also if you have a door on your office. But you can get like a single dumbbell And you can use that for a lot of different exercises. And yeah, it's great if your office building has like a gym or something that you can go to during a break, but there's a lot you can do in a very short period of time without even having to go more than 10 feet away.
Right. Like body weight exercises. There are so many, like, that's primarily what I give people because they're the easiest things that they can duplicate at home.
Right.
Just like, lunges are great, or just like, if you don't have a dumbbell, but if you have like water bottles or something, water bottles are like about a pound.
Right.
You can just work on like shoulder strengthening and shoulder mobility, like so many different options.
Yeah. I genuinely think if you really wanted to push yourself, let's say you're working a full day, if every hour you took 5 minutes, so you end up with, let's say, 45 minutes by the end of the day, I think you could genuinely be sore by the end of the day from working out.
Definitely.
So there is time for all this. You just need to properly schedule it. And just like I said, the multitasking is great. And like you mentioned, parking farther away or skipping the elevator, all these little things really add up both for your mental and physical health. So
yeah, because I'm always telling people, like patients and my own friends and family, that like it's not the big things in life, like the big health problems that get you, it's the little things that you do every single day that can either like make or break your health. It
all just adds up so quick. So something else with health, it's also it's not only what you do with your body and your brain, but also what you put in your body. So it's also important to think about, if you're snacking throughout the day, what kind of snacks you're having. Are you having healthy snacks? Are you grabbing junk food from the vending machine? It's very easy to just take like nuts in with you to work, or banana, something like that, instead of grabbing that bag of chips. Obviously, every once in a while, it's not a big deal. But if you're listening to this, you're probably trying to be healthier at the office. So this is just another topic that you should take into consideration. It seems like such a small thing, but when every single day you're having whatever, the donuts from the vending machine or whatever, it does start to add up. And that also that's not just physical health, that also comes with mental health. If you're eating more whole foods, more plant-based foods, the nutrients, less processed foods, you're getting all these vitamins and nutrients that are going into your brain, and they're literally going to make you work better too. So this is also a business decision. So you have to listen to me. Even though I have a very small business right now, I'm giving you business decisions, business advice. But it's just another aspect to consider. So reasons to do these things at work: physical health, mental health, and then efficiency at work. Even if you don't care about yourself at all, this will at least make you more efficient at work, which will help your business grow, or wherever you work, it'll create a better environment for everyone. So yeah, just take all these tips into consideration. We've given you a wide spectrum of things, everything from literally not getting up and moving all the way to full-blown exercise you can do at work. So there should be something for everyone here. But I appreciate you coming on again.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
This is your third time. That is a record. It's literally a record, but
always happy to do it.
Well, thank you again. And yeah, if anyone has, I always forget at the end of these episodes to remind people to subscribe and like and comment and review and I don't know which platform you're watching or listening to this on. So do all the things, all the things, do all the things. Yeah, click every button that's there, unless any of them have a thumbs down. Ignore that one. That one doesn't do anything. Don't even try it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you again for being on.
Of course.
All right, everyone. I'll see you around.